Hey guys, it's Renee with another diary entry. Look at me go, getting some videos uploaded. Today I want to talk about feeling excluded or feeling that you are an outsider. So some stuff's been, bothering me for the last couple weeks or so. I've made some friends here in the apartment complex. There's a few ladies in my building that I'm friends with, and it has a lot of people, a lot of residents here that I've gotten to know a little bit, and I feel like I'm excluded from a lot of things, and I don't know how to feel about it. Am I reading too much into it? But that's what I want to talk to you about today. And maybe you have some insight or advice, or maybe you have a similar situation, or you did have a similar situation, with people in your life. And maybe we can talk about it. So we're going to get into it. So let's get into it. Anyway, so I feel, like I said, I feel excluded by a few people here in the complex, specifically one of the neighbors in my building, or two of the neighbors. We moved in on the exact same day last year, and I befriended her that day in the rental office. And, we talked, and she knew the situation between me and my husband. And she's by herself. And there's another woman that is closer to my age, in her mid-50s, because it's a 55 and older community. And she moved in September of last year, and she is separated from her husband and soon to be divorced. She's going through a rough time with her soon-to-be ex-spouse husband and her children. The husband turned her children really against her. And, going through a divorce, we had, some common, things to talk about, and, all the emotions that go along with that. And so the three of us have talked, and, we text and whatever and check in on each other. But recently, those two women are doing things and not having me included. And I don't have to be involved in everything or anything or whatever. But they kind of know the situation, the husband's going to be moving in with me. I'm going to need to get out, to not be with him 24/7. And, I don't want to say caught them going out or doing stuff together, because I'm not looking for it. I walk my dogs. That's basically it. Or I'm sitting on my patio, and my patio is right next to the front entrance of our building. So I'm trying to think. A couple weeks ago, what was I doing? It was nighttime, and I was getting ready I was taking the dogs out, and they were coming back from somewhere together. They were walking. I believe they were walking, or they could have been driving with another woman resident that lives in our same building, but she's married. And so I came out with the dogs, and it's dark, And here comes one around the side of the building from where the other person parks their car in front of their garage. And I know she saw me, and she like did a beeline, like a U-turn, and walked around back to where she was coming from. So I don't know if she was like, I don't know if she was warning the other lady, like, oh, Renee's out. Let's not have her see us together. I don't know. Maybe I'm paranoid. I don't know. But you know how you have a sixth sense about things? So that was my take on that day. And the next day, it was funny. I was outside. I don't know if I was getting in my car or I was going somewhere, and the one lady saw me. She was coming out of the building, and she says, "Hey, Renee, how are you?" And I'm like, "I'm good. I'm great, thanks." And I was like, kind of like short. Like I was just doing my thing. I was kind of perturbed from the night before because she was the one that beelined back the way she was coming from, or the way she came, to kind of avoid me. And not even 5 minutes later, I get a phone call from the other woman from upstairs. She goes, "Yeah, I just talked to so-and-so, and she said she saw you and you didn't look good. You didn't sound good. Is everything okay?" And I'm like, everything is fine. And I just like let it off of that. And I said, "Oh yeah, I saw you too. I saw her coming." I don't know. They're like, "Oh yeah, it was a last minute thing." Okay, well, at the last minute thing, you could maybe invite me. But whatever. So that was like a week or two ago. Time just flies. I don't even know. It could have been just a week ago. I have no idea. Anyway, so then yesterday, it was about 6:30. My husband just went back to his apartment because he wasn't feeling well. And I think I said that in my last vlog, and that I just uploaded. And he went home, and then I was taking the dogs out for a walk before it got to, well, I take them out at night when it's dark, but this was they just ate. So I was like trying to move their process along, if you know what I mean. So I walked out on my patio, which is next to the door that goes into the building. And lo and behold, the two women come out, and one has a vegetable platter and one has something else that she might have made because she bakes and cooks a lot. And they walked down to another building. And I'm pretty sure I would know who they went to go visit. Another lady that I know and that I talked to when we're at the pool all together or whatever. So they must have had something planned last night to where the two they were walking to, I'm thinking, that other woman's apartment. I'm like, oh, and they saw me and they're like, "Hey," and I'm like, "Hi," and I just like kept walking the dogs or whatever, and they didn't like, say anything else. Like, "Hey, we're going over to so-and-so's house. Do you want to come over?" It's just an impromptu get together. Nothing. I'm like, okay. So it's happened a few times, those two times. And then another time that was, they have a trivia night for the residents, and it usually happens on a Friday night. And my husband and I have been going, and they were going, I'm pretty sure I went to the first one, but they already had a team together. It was like you have to have a team of 4 at the most. So they already got their team together before they knew that I was going to go or my husband was going to go or whatever. And that's fine. No big deal, because we can be a team together. Or we ended up hooking up with another couple that were there that didn't have partners. So we did that. And the last trivia, we hooked up with another couple that we never, talked to or never met before. So it was good. So not a big deal. But come to find out, after one of the trivia nights, that we weren't on their team or whatever, these two women and their other partners, they all like went out to a local diner afterwards. And I heard that it just came up in conversation one day when we were at the pool last week, and something about, oh yeah, they were acting up in the diner. They named the diner by name, and I'm like, okay, so like they're doing things, and like I said, I don't need to be invited to everything, but it would be nice to be asked, even if I declined. So I don't know like what the deal is. Like, they don't like me. They don't like my husband, which my husband's very quiet. And it's so funny because he was never quiet prior to his cancer, but now he's more reserved and quiet and doesn't really talk to a lot of people when we're at the pool trivia night. We were talking to the partners that we were hooked up with or whatever on the team. But, he's very reserved now, I think. So I don't know what it is with these two women and like why I feel excluded. So, it's okay to exclude me. I'm just hoping that I don't want to be an afterthought. Don't ever consider me as an afterthought. Like, if you're going out and then you see me like haphazardly, like these last two times, say, hey, you want to come? It's the last minute. No, don't. Then I feel like I'm intruding, and, I don't want to feel that way. I already feel like I'm an outsider, and that would just make me feel worse. So now the funny thing is, today is Friday. They have bingo on Fridays every 2 weeks at the clubhouse. And I typically have been going since I haven't been working. And I signed up for this week, for today. And then I forgot that I had my blood work and my doctor's appointment for my iron levels. So I am sure that the one lady, she actually calls the bingo. I'm sure she was wondering where I was at, because I think I did tell her I did sign up for bingo, and they were probably going off the checklist and like asking for my name, like if I was there, and I didn't show up. And I didn't tell anybody why I wasn't showing up, because I just realized it like 2 days ago that, oh crap, I have my appointment, I can't go to bingo. It was at the same time. So I'm like wondering if I will get a text saying, hey, we missed you at bingo. But who knows? And then when I was coming back from the doctor's just a little bit ago, I was getting out of my car, and the one lady was getting into her vehicle, and she saw me. She said, hey, Renee. I said, oh, hey. And I just kept walking. I didn't stop to make a conversation, nothing. So I sounded upbeat. So hopefully she doesn't report back saying, hey, at least, I don't want to say her name, but she said that you were sounding depressed or sad or whatever. Is everything okay? Like she did the last time. So I don't know. I don't know if they feel that they shouldn't, include me because, my husband is here pretty much all the time, and it's fine, but he can stay here with the dogs, or he can go back to his apartment. We're not a package deal. Okay. They know the situation, that we're still getting divorced. Okay. They know he's moving back in here at the end of August. I did make it clear, I'm going to be taking a lot of walks or hanging outside or, trying to get involved more so I can get out of the apartment, but I just feel like I'm not part of the group or the clique. And I feel like I'm in high school again, and like I said, I don't feel like I should be invited to everything, but sometimes it would be nice. So let me know your thoughts on that. Have you ever had a situation similar to this, to where you felt excluded or, overlooked, or, they're doing things on the down low and you're not privy to it? I don't know. I got Olive over here sniffing I have a bag full of papers and she's sniffing in it. So anyway, so it is Friday. It is July 11th. Hopefully you have a good weekend coming up and you're going to be doing something fun. I will be with my husband over at my daughter's house, helping her get organized and cleaned up after her 2.5 years of working almost 2 full-time jobs, so we can get some stuff organized for her and, make her house feel a little bit more homey now that she'll be home after work, because she won't be at Costco 4 or 5 days a week like she was for the last 2.5 years. And it's going to be hot and humid, so I told her, I said, hey, we'll work at your house for a couple hours, and then we can go to the pool afterwards. You come on over to the apartment complex, and we can go to the pool. Look, I still have my thing from my blood work, and my iron levels are in normal range. Whoop, whoop. I don't have to get any more infusions at this time. I think it was 13.6, and it should be between either 12 or 13 up to 16. I forget what he said, but I'm in normal range and I'm happy. And that means hopefully I'm not bleeding anymore inside anywhere, and I'm eating okay to where I'm getting enough iron. And I'm going to continue hopefully on that path. And I have to go back there in November for a follow-up. So we'll see how that goes. And hopefully, fingers crossed, that I'm good to go and they don't have to check my iron anymore. Anyway, and this shirt, I got this shirt from a YouTuber channel. It's called The Turned Leg. And if you like revamping stuff or antiques or vintage, she does roadside pickups of trash and stuff and rehabs it and whatever. And this shirt I got from her website. It says, for the love of junk, reuse, repurpose, and rescue. So, and I got so many compliments. Everybody liked it in the doctor's office, and it's a huge facility. It's Penn Medicine, and there's 2 levels, all these different specialty areas. So I was in the, I was checking in. She's like, I love your shirt. I'm like, thank you. I go upstairs and get my blood taken. She's like, I love your shirt. She goes, I revamp stuff too. And she's showing me stuff on her phone that she did. I'm like, you're really talented. I'm like, you should go check out these YouTube channels and see what people do with these transfers and stuff. She's like, I'm going to do that. And then I went into, for the doctor follow-up to read my blood results. The receptionist liked my shirt there too. So everybody loved my shirt. So for the love of junk, she sells them on her website, The Turned Leg. She does a lot of chippy chalk paint. Like I said, she'll go out and she'll find stuff at flea markets, yard sales on the side of the road that people are getting rid of. And she will rehab them and turn them into great furniture pieces or whatever. And she sells them in her antique booth. I think she's located somewhere in Michigan. So if you're interested in that type of stuff, that's somebody that I watch. Check her out. Anyway, so that is all I got. I'm going to try not to let this group of women get under my skin. I've always been kind of a loner. I'm an only child. When I grew up, I do have step siblings that they are estranged from the family, from my stepfather. And I have 2 stepbrothers that are living from my stepmother. They're all estranged from family as well. So I've always been a loner. So I shouldn't let it get under my skin. I grew up by myself. My mom worked. Family was always 2 hours away. So all my cousins were not around me. I was not around them. So they're closer where they live. And I was the outsider family member, the black sheep. I came from a family of divorce. My mom always worked. And I was home alone by myself all the time from the age of 7 and 8 all the way up into whatever, teenage years. So I always felt like an outsider. I was always kind of a recluse to where I can be by myself. And, for the most part, it doesn't bother me. But when you're going through some shit and people have similar like backgrounds or stories that they're getting a divorce, or their spouse is no longer around or whatever, and you're women in your upper 50s, low 60s, and you're trying to make friends in a new environment. I would think that everybody would be included. I don't feel like I'm a problem, because one of the women, she doesn't drive, she doesn't have a car, and I take her grocery shopping every so often to help her out. And she takes me up on it, and I offer, and I do it, because I like her. But, I feel like, why bother now? Because you don't even include me. Like last night, they were walking to whoever or wherever they were going. They could have said, oh, hey, we're going to so-and-so's apartment. You want to come over for a few hours? You don't have to bring anything. That would have been nice. I probably wouldn't have gone, but it's nice to be asked and to have that offer. And I don't like cliques or mean girls. I don't like those type of groups. And yeah, so that's all I got on that. Anyway, have a wonderful weekend. Take care of yourselves. And let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And hopefully you'll see me with a new vlog next week. Maybe I'll do some recording over the weekend when I start working on my garage. And yeah, that's all I got. Anyway, you take care of yourselves, and I'll see you in the next diary entry. Bye for now.